Hey everyone, I wanted to go over a watch list that I'm going to put together for our team in Discord, but I want to share it with everyone here on YouTube as well. It was a pretty slow week for us, so I just want to kind of add a little bit of value to everyone's week going forward. So I've got my end of day scans. You guys can see that these are just end of day scans that I put together. Each one of these are custom built scans that I have set up. But these ones you see on the screen here are my end of day scans. I like to scan all of these and add a watch list for our team. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'll go over these scans real quick. From top left, we have the Bullish Bob Island of Misfits. And these are our stocks that were trading in high volume recently, but are now kind of tapering back down and basically are being untouched at this point. So they were hot maybe not too long ago, and now they're just kind of sitting there. So maybe they're ready for another pop. Maybe not, but I like to be aware of these. Next, we have the Volume Hunter. The volume hunter is exactly that. It's going to let me know where the volume was in the market. And we can see on the top of this list, we had Hills, HILS, with 95 million shares traded today. This is on Friday. So we're going into Monday morning. I want to compile a watch list based off of these scans. So this is the volume watch. This is going to be the highest volume in order from highest to least high. So we have, this is the volume watch here. I'm going to make a list off of this, and you guys will see how I make that list. These are stocks that are 52-week lows. So they're either near or at those 52-week lows. And of course, they're low float as well. All of these scans are low float scans. Oversold watch, we've got EVTL, which has been coming on the scan a lot. I'm not really thrilled about this one. It is oversold, yes, but it doesn't mean I'm just going to jump into it. I would prefer the float right here to be a little bit lower. I like to see the float lower than the 43 million we have, but EVTL is the only one coming up on the list this week, and I'll show you guys a couple others that I have as well. Down below here, we have the high short interest, and it's going to show us anything with that high short float percentage, right? So it has that squeeze potential. So we have SI here has 72% of the float is short. And then CVNA, we have 57% of the float is short. So these are the two on that list. So SI, CVNA will be on the high short interest list, or the squeeze potential. End of day final 15-minute volume scan. This is a new scan that I've made really for our early bird crew, and this is to let me know where the volume was towards the end of the market, and if we want to go ahead and take a look at that same type of recipe for early Monday morning pre-market. Down below, we have the micro watch. These are stocks that have a very, very low float, very low float. So all of these are low float stocks, but this scan here is going to actually be micro float. And as you can see, this is the float here. We've got 573,000 shares on REVB. So I'll have that one on the watch list going forward. Next to that, we have the Bullish Bob Volume Hunter. It's the same as this one here, just a little bit different setup here. And you can see XPON is at the top of this list. So we have a number of stocks off that list as well. So off of that, we have our Discord that all of our team members are involved in. And I'm just going to go ahead and put together a watch list here. This is the Monday watch list. So I'm going to take stocks that I see on that list, and I'm going to add it to this watch list. So let me just kind of minimize it like that. We had GNS down here, right, on that final 15-minute scan. So I'm going to add it to this list here. So GNS will be one to watch. And feel free to add these to your watch list as well. If you guys have anything that you're watching, let me know what you're watching, and we'll kind of go over it together. I also have a gap up scan for the end of day. I'll pull it over to the screen so you guys can see it. This is our gap up scan that's for the post-market scans. It's on, again, a different screen, but what we can see here, XPON was the lead gapper in the post-market, was up 10%. So maybe you want to add XPON to our watch list, right? So this is XPON here, so or the watch list. I'm just going to add that. So XPON could be worth watching for our early bird crew. And then I want to add just a little something that I think may have potential. It doesn't always happen, but I just want to add it. So I'm going to take a look at what we have here. I think REVB I'm going to add to that list. And again, mostly because of the float. Now, it doesn't have much volume, as we can see here. SINT is another one there. The float is pretty low, 470,000 shares. So a couple micro floats here. I think I'm going to add those to the watch list for Monday morning as well. So SINT. And typically I only add about 3 of these to this list because I don't want to really overwhelm the early bird crew. But I do want to add a few of these to this list now. So REVB, and it's going to be Monday, so it's hard to tell what's going to move. So I like to add a few of these names so everyone can get prepared over the week. So next list we have is the Trendy Tickers. So Trendy Tickers here are going to be basically off of the volume list. So Trendy Tickers are going to be very high volume names. And I kind of am selective on which ones I put on here, but you guys will see what I add. So I'm going to add Hills to the list. Of course, it had almost 100 million shares. I'll add that one. XPON, excuse me, will also be on the list. I don't really like SQL, and I'm taking from this list here. I don't really care for SQL, HPCO, or LIXT, mainly because of that volume and if excuse me, the price. So you see that the price is in red. If the price is in red, typically I tell my team that's what I don't really care for. I really love stocks over $2. If they're under 2, we can still trade them, but I have to adjust my approach. So I'm going to add HKD to the list here. So Trendy Tickers HKD for Monday. And then I'm going to add BBAI as well. And again, it may not pan out to be a really successful list, but again, I would like to be prepared. So if we start to get volume into these names, at least I have the whole weekend to really get prepared. So I'll get this video out as soon as possible. 52-week low floaters. That's from this list on the top right. So I'm just going to do that right in order. So RSLS will make the list again, right? Grom will be on the list. And this one I'm a little less selective. I like to just take the top 5 off of the list because these are the closest to the 52-week lows. So MGOL as well. And I don't think I want to add that many, so I'll just leave it as that right there. And everyone in the Discord has access to each one of these scans. So I'll screenshot each one of these scans, put them in certain channels so you guys have access to that as well. So if you want to see maybe some of these names that are further down, you can do so. Oversold ideas. So on our oversold watch list, which is right here, we only have EVTL as the only one we have on this list. And it's very low volume, so I'm not very thrilled with EVTL, but I'm going to add it to the list as it is becoming pretty oversold. Now, the other thing I have is I'll pull up another screen. Again, this one here is going to be Trading View. So I'm going to open up my screener here at the bottom, refresh it here. And this is the low float oversold daily. So this is a daily scan. So let me hop over to the daily. And we have SINT and VWE. So I'm going to go ahead and add these to the list. Let me shrink this down or get this out of the way real quick. So what was that? We had SINT, right? And we had VWE. And what's interesting about that is SINT we know is also from our micro floaters as well. So the very, very low float. All right, so now I have another list. Let me go to the low float. And these are all custom scans that I have built through TradingView. I have a lot of custom scans that I've built through here and back tested and all that good stuff. So another scan that I have here, low float, oversold daily version 2. This one has more names on it. It's going to have the same name, SINT there. Then we have a few others. I'm going to be a little selective on this. So let's just take a quick look at these charts. So let me go ahead and pull these up. I don't really want to see the RSI in here. I know that they're all oversold. I want to see the gaps really is what I want to see. So I want to see if there's any gaps. FAT has a nice gap. What I like about FAT, the float is 18 million share float. If that's correct, that's a nice size float. I like the price over $2. I like that the RSI is very low. I like that we had a lot of volume as well. It looks like it's showing that it had about 2 million shares traded today. And that's right, about 1.9 million shares traded. Average volume is 409,000. I'm sure it had news. I'd have to look into that. But I like the gap. So I'm a gap trader. I'm a breakout gap trader. So I look for these wide gaps to take advantage of. So the weekly is obviously a massive gap. Daily, you can see there's a gap there as well. So it might be worth watching. SRTS, another one, looking at the daily chart here. It is oversold. Look at the weekly chart. There's our gap, right? So each one of these are going to present the same type of look. A major gap on the weekly. It's going to give a little gap on the daily. And basically, we're going to watch from there and see if there's any movement. Again, these are all just oversold ideas. Hoth looks pretty good here. I like Hoth. Let's see, 294. I like the price. Float is micro float, so that I like that. It can get pretty whippy both ways, so I want to be careful with that as well. The volume is very low, 374,000 shares, so very, very low volume. So I'm not too sure about that one, but it might be worth watching. So I'm going to add Hoth to the list as it does look pretty oversold. So let me get this off of the screen and let me add Hoth to our oversold ideas. So dash Hoth. And this is for the week. That doesn't mean it's just going to pop up on Monday, but I do want to be aware of these. All right, next we have, let me move this to the top here. Next, we have the short squeeze names, right? So that's SI and CVNA, which we already have those on the list. So I'm just going to keep that the same, just the way it is. Watching for volume, I'm going to take that off of our volume list here. So I'm going to take that off of this list. I'm just going to look further down the list. I want to make sure that the float is in the blue because I want to make sure that it's high quality setups or possible high quality setups. So let me go ahead in here and add, let's see, on this list, maybe SI. So I'm going to add SI, even though it's on our short watch list as well. I just want to add it in there just in case it gets some volume. GNS as well. Added GNS. NAOV, I want to add that one as well. And I think EDBL is worth watching as well. So EDBL, if it gets hot, it's worth watching. So that's it. That's pretty much the bulk of it. I'm just going to add my tag here so everyone has it. Let me expand this. And that is the watch list. That's going to be Monday's watch list. So let me just enter this in for our team. Send it out. Yes. And that's our Monday watch list. And as you guys can see, if you're in our Discord, this is the BB watch list channel. And you'll see that we have a watch list posted. I post this every night. Depends on what time I post it. Sometimes earlier on and sometimes a little bit later. Right now I'm doing it after the market's closed, but it is the weekend. So everyone will have a chance to go over these and really see if there's any value there. Now, if I flip over to the day trading chat, you guys will see exactly that. You have the watch list right there. So that is the watch list for Monday, guys. I hope that helped. We had a pretty slow week. Hopefully next week we get some fresh breaking news. These are the names to watch if we don't. But if we do get breaking news on Monday morning, I'll definitely take advantage of that as I love to trade news, but I'm really just a breakout trader, guys. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday morning. Thank you.